You are now live with Dylan Kimlin.
Welcome. You are now live with Dylan Kimlin. I'm introducing a new, format to what I offer to tournaments going forward, and that's essentially doing a tournament review. So, for those that tuned in, we had well over 4,000 views last weekend for the Brisbane Teams Challenge, and thank you to everyone that did tune in. Essentially, what I'll be offering is a overview of the tournament, how everyone went, as well as, bronze to gold medalists, just a general discussion about the tournament format, and just my takes on it. So we'll get right into it. This will be short form content, I suppose you could call it. So very short videos. Essentially, if you did miss the tournament, you did miss any of the footage, you can quickly jump in, have a look, see how players went. If you want to catch up on how your family and friends did, or potential rivals, players that you may be coming up against in future tournaments. This is just short content for you to have a quick look at. So let's get straight into it. So essentially, the Brisbane Teams Challenge occurred at Shaw Park last week. So currently, I'm recording this on the 9th of April, and it was pretty amazing, honestly. From a conditions point of view, the courts were pretty good. The weather was phenomenal on the first day where we had the intermediate event. It was cloud cover. It was just really nice conditions, honestly. We had barely any wind, as well as the sun wasn't out. It was just a lovely temperature, perfect pickleball conditions, honestly. The second day was a little bit more windy towards the end. Temperature definitely started to drop too for both days at the end of the day. But honestly, just all around good tournament. It was also really well run. The intermediate day, we did run a little bit longer than intended, I suppose you could say that. But honestly, from the amount of laughter I could hear from all the courts, I think everyone had a genuinely good time. So let's just jump into the intermediate side of things. So the first day of the intermediate teams event. So how the teams event ran for both events was each team needed to have 4 players, 2 that identified as female, 2 that identified as male, and essentially those players would buddy up and play with each of their teammates. So if I was to play with player A, B, and C, I'd play one game with player A, one game with player B, one game with player C. And typically it would result in one gendered match and then 2 mixed matches for each round, I suppose you could call it. Now, a bit of a quirky format, but from a viewing point of view, it was really interesting. We got to see a lot of players play together that wouldn't necessarily in a tournament format. And also it really brought out some really interesting play styles as well. Now, from the intermediate point of view, I thought the intermediate players were phenomenal, and I really would urge you to go back and watch some of the footage that we have. Now, the footage you can find is on the Brisbane Pickleball Club Facebook page or the PAA, so that's Pickleball Australia YouTube channel. It's all there, just under the Brisbane Teams Challenge 2023. The intermediate guys, if you are watching, you did so well. It was a genuine joy to watch you play. And I think the finals formats were unreal. Like, I know by the end of it, all the players were absolutely wrecked. They played 20-plus games. And for them to put in as much of an effort as they did towards the end there it was really good to watch. What I'll be doing for these particular formats as well going forward is I will do sort of an MVP for each, category. And as this is sort of a teams event, I was thinking I'll do a male and a female. When we do singles, we can also look at that as well. But for this particular format, for the intermediate, I think the MVP's Di Cameron was easily the female MVP for the tournament. She was absolutely unreal. Coming from 9-1 down with her partner once again, you can find the footage there, Scullion, was absolutely nuts. And that was, seriously, I was talking to Sumi Rajpal afterwards, very accomplished advanced player in the male scene for Australia, and he said that was hands down one of the best games he's watched. So, phenomenal effort, Di. You definitely are my MVP for the female category. Simpkins was the MVP for the male side of things, just played some unreal shots. And I could definitely see both of you playing in the open category or at least in advanced pools going forward for tournaments should you choose to. Yeah, but look, the intermediate guys really put on a spectacle, and it excites me to see sort of where we're going. The level of play is seriously starting to rise here in Australia, so much so that it's not just the open guys that will pull a crowd. We had quite a few people staying back to watch the intermediate match, and it was, like I said, a genuine joy to watch, especially those final series, doubling up on the word there. Now let's quickly talk about opens. So open play. So that was the second day. Like I said, conditions were a little bit different. It was quite windy. I think the teams events were really interesting. We unfortunately had a couple of injuries occur at sort of last minute. So certain players had to pull out of certain teams, which would certain teams would probably do much better, or not much better, rather, just they'd play with people they normally play with. Now, in saying that, I find the open teams also had different team structures in that there was people playing, like trying different partners out, trying different, I guess, play styles as well. And once again, it was really good pickleball. It was really fast. The dink rallies were immediate, so the third shot drops, third shot drives were instant, and they were on point. So the players could immediately rush up to the net to quickly attack. And just the fast pace play was, we're only 4 months into the year and we're already seeing this sort of level. So it's quite apparent that the open division, and I'm going to include the intermediate guys in this, they've already quickly got match fit. They're already raring ready to go. So it is, once we come around to the QPT events later on in the schedule, it'll be interesting to see how everyone goes. So, and on that note, I should probably point out I'll only be doing these videos for events that I cover. So, because I have footage and whatnot. We'll see how we go later on during the year. But would be good to just give some analysis. I find the Australian pickleball scene really needs something. We've only got like brackets and Jupiter, I guess, for any kind of analytical data. So having some kind of discussion after tournaments is sorely needed, I think, in the Australian scene. In regards to MVPs for this, I find I had a bit of a think about it, but for the females, I definitely find Deb Rossi was the female MVP for this event. She was just nuts, and I will have a clip that I will put up, sort of just showing her defense. A lot of people think about pickleball, especially in the open scene. You go and watch the pros in the States, and it's all attack, attack, attack. But as I really appreciate someone that can reset the ball, can slow it down and kill a play. And the particular clip I will show demonstrates that. I find, Deb came second, but played so well for her team, and she should be really happy with how she went. For the male MVP, probably Wes Vine, just dominant. Honestly, he wreaked havoc throughout the round robins. Unfortunately, he scored an unreal ATP in one of the events, and the net dropped out just as he went for it. So I know he'll be cursing me for that, but he was just superb, and just carrying the form that he had last year. So yeah, pretty straightforward there, honestly. Now, I do want to give a special mention to Shannon Burr too. He played so well, considering the calibre of the opposition. Like I said, everyone was firing. He played really well in the matches, and I believe his team came third in the end. So, a little honourable mention there to Shannon as well. He did very, very well. So going forward, how these videos will sort of work is that essentially I will keep a tally of all the gold medalists, silver medalists, bronze medalists, because something that was sort of discovered at the end of last year when PAQ sort of released a awards night for players. I'm very analytical, and I'm sure the judges for that event would have found my vote hilarious, because I spent a lot of time going in and actually, I guess, providing statistics and analytics and data, thanks to brackets, on who should have won certain awards. Now, I think this year we really need to take that into consideration. So I'll be sort of treating this like almost an Olympics format. So whoever's won the most gold medals, bronze medals, silver, whatever, for all different categories, I will be tallying it and going once again for all events that I cover. So and for any tournament directors or organisers that are looking to have their events covered, please reach out. I've got a lot of stuff booked out this year already, but yeah, I can definitely do what I can to support you and your club. But and this little analysis is just something again that I offer as part of the service. So yeah, so I'll put up the medal tallies at the end there. I believe the gold medal match for the Open was Vine, Newell. Actually, another honourable mention there. Mike Newell played really well. So well done, Mike. You were very, very solid for your side there. Obviously, Travis has injured himself, so you were a quick little step in and you played phenomenally well. The ladies, Michelle and Lou, played solid. You guys just did what you had to do, and as a result, gold medal. The silver medalist was, like I said, MVP, Deb Rossi, as well as Jane Rubery. You also had David Richardson and Ben Costin. Honestly, it was real close. You guys, unfortunately, just couldn't pull through in the end. But I think you'd take a lot of positives from that match. And then, yeah, the bronze medalist was Brendan Lee, Shannon Burr, Sarah Burr, and Beck Kingsley. Once again, you did really well. I think Martin was supposed to play in this event, but like I said, Shannon played so well to sort of come in and cover that. If there is any particular analysis you'd like or statistics regarding the Australian pickleball scene or mainly Queensland for now, please let me know in the comments. This is all just for fun at the moment, so if there's anything you really want to see, I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, like I said, we had over 4,000 people or 4,000 views for the Brisbane Teams Challenge last weekend. So that was for both intermediate and open. I think it's fair to say that the Australian scene is starting to erupt, and hopefully we can provide more analysis and statistics going forward, but also just top quality broadcasts. I think the players have genuinely enjoyed going back and watching the footage to sort of just see how they went, things they can work on, because anyone that actually takes sports seriously understands how important it is to film yourself. I know that sounds, it doesn't sound very good there the way I mentioned it, but going back and having that analysis of how you played is essential, and I know this just further benefits players. So, but it's also nice for family and friends to tune in and see how you're doing. So, hopefully this can sort of spur a movement within the Australian scene. If there's anyone from other states that would like to learn about how to do broadcasting or anything like that, I don't do this for money. This is purely for fun, and I'd be more than happy to help you out. So please reach out. I'll leave my email in the at the end of the description. But yeah, thank you. This is Dylan, and hopefully we'll see you in the next tournament. Cheers.